I started my career in the marketing space, right, digital advertising, and quickly I learned that the people that are going to find the most success are the people that are actually actively presenting like insights and information about the data that's tied to your marketing campaigns. So one of the decisions I made very early in my career, risky one, was like, all right, I've been in marketing all this time, I have this experience, but I'm going to take a step back or maybe a demotion to go to a different company to dive more into the data science analytics side. That was kind of a big shift where you really have to just come down and like bet on yourself. Are you going to do this? Are you going to explore these theories that you have for your career and what's going to be happening next? Or are you going to kind of just stick with what's comfortable? The biggest growth I've learned happens outside of your comfort zone. So that's kind of like takes me into like one of the second most pivotal moments in my career where I was offered a leadership position at a point where I didn't feel 100% ready, if I'm being honest. But at the end of the day, like I took that bet on myself and it's helped me kind of learn to scale teams in the data and AI space. It's helped me accelerate my career faster than I would have been able to do kind of as an individual contributor. Take those risks, take those challenges, especially when you're in your 20s, you have a lot more room for failure and the road to success is paved in those failures. It's kind of that analogy, you have two ears and one mouth. Right? So you should listen twice as much as you speak when you're building those relationships. Every single relationship that you're building comes from a point of like, everybody has their story. Everybody has something that they've done or worked on in their space. Everybody has a unique perspective on something to give. So as many of those perspectives as you can digest, it's very strong in building those relationships and people like to be heard. On the second component of that, like how do you foster and build those relationships? It really comes down to how can you provide something of value back to the individuals that you're talking to? So like early on in my career, if I was talking to someone that I felt like I didn't deserve to be in the room with, or potentially they were like way deep in their careers and I was just getting started, if we had a conversation and a topic came up, I tried to go out and find a blog that talked about that or a video that I could share and just toss that over in a message that like, one, you're thinking of them, second, you heard them, and third, that you're immediately providing value to them. I'm a big duck guy, and I'm a big fan of like people that went to our university. So people that reach out on LinkedIn, if I see that in their bio or description or their education, like I'm always there to be there for them and open up. At the time that I was graduating, I didn't have someone in my career when I was making these career transitions from like marketing to data science and AI to really speak to and like pick their brains on what I should be considering, what the kind of things should I be moving forward with, what kind of tools and technologies should I be learning in my free time? And I just kind of want to be that resource to the students here. Reach out to me on LinkedIn. Don't hesitate to reach out. Just because you see a fancy VP title doesn't mean I don't have time for other ducks. I don't know everything though, so take some things that I say with a grain of salt, right? I can provide anything that I can to help students. There's kind of two key factors here that I want to talk about. The first one is too much focus on the tools and technologies, not necessarily the outcomes. I work in data science and AI, and that's kind of what I do. But a lot of people like list out all of the tools and technologies they know without even addressing like what is the business problem, what is the use case that you apply that to. Because in this space, there's so many people that are working in data science and AI. There's so many resumes that come out where all of these tools, technologies don't differentiate you. They don't stand out on paper when I'm reviewing to hire on my team. So really try to focus on like what was the business outcome or what was the use case that you drove? What was the cool idea that you developed using these technologies, not just kind of like a laundry list of technologies. The second one, and this one is easier said than done, is tailoring resumes per job. And I know you hear that all the time, but I remember when I graduated, I was throwing out 100 job applications like every week just to try to find something. But that doesn't really take you anywhere. Show that you read about the company, show that you knew what they're looking for. Look for those little things in the job description that shows that they maybe have been burned before by, junior and mid-level talent that you can be that solution for. Take the time that it needs to like focus in on the jobs that you're really focused on and want to like actually get, and spend some extra time on the cover letter and the resume for those specific cases. Don't just like send out the same resume to every company. That's never going to get you there. Make sure that it's tailored to the company. Representation matters in the workspace. So if you walk into a room and nobody looks like you or has similar experiences as you, it's really hard to feel welcome. And that's coming from like my perspective, walking into boardrooms where no one looks like me, or a lot of people didn't. Creating that space for people to be different and be themselves is really important. There's a lot of performative actions companies do that's just like posting on Pride Month or posting on Black History Month or Women in Tech Week. But like, what are you doing to actually foster that inclusive culture at your work? Are you making people feel comfortable? Are you creating psychological safety for them? Do you create a space where team members can come to you and be transparent, and are you being transparent back? So I try to be transparent with my team about my experiences to hopefully make them feel more willing to be transparent with me when they're feeling like, I'm not being heard in this room, or I don't have a voice in this room. I just create that space for them to be able to share that, and I try to go and rectify it all the best ways I can. Being inclusive is really important. Creating psychological safety is really important, as well as representation. As a student, don't expect to know everything, right? Be comfortable with the unknown. No matter how you grow in your career, there's always going to be things that are evolving. It's going to be really important for you to just be honest about what you know and what you don't know. I spent a lot of time early in my career trying to be a person that I wasn't, or try to put on a facade of who I thought the companies might have wanted me to be. But being yourself, is going to take you further than trying to fit into a mold that you might not fit into. We're all our own individual pieces of clay.